This is for entertainment purposes only. Believe me, I do not know if any of this is true, and I am not asking you to believe any of this. Now, with that being said, hey, yo, peace. This is your man, L. Judge, coming right back at you with some of that real talk real fast. Now, if you can, make sure you hit like, leave a comment, hit repost. It helps your boy out. It truly does. Now, many of us, when we think of humans, or when we think of life beginning on this planet, we think of beings that look like us, because we are all we know. But what if it was something else that exists before us? Because evolution is an actuality. Let's prove this. Now, if you were to go to any professor who tries to debunk this thing that they call evolution, and then you ask him, well, how is a child born? How is the process of a child coming into existence within the mother? How does that happen? And then what he would describe to you is a form of evolution. Peep game. During the process of your creation of self, and I'll get at that at a later date. During the process of the creation of self, you start out as an embryo. And then you go into this tadpole looking thing, this reptilian looking thing right here that has a tail. As time goes by, the tail begins to invert and it becomes a coccyx. Now the coccyx is the little triangle thing that sits at the bottom of the spine. Now, in some cases, people do not go through the full evolution within the mother, and they are still born with the tail. Some people try to relate that tail onto a monkey, but no, that tail has everything to do with the reptilian and you, or those who have them, not going through the full process of evolution. So, but at one point you had a tail. So everyone has a story to tell. Believe that. Now, this planet is much older than we have been told. We can't even really imagine how old this planet is and what different types of life forms once exist. And often when we think of reptilians, we think of the ones that some people say come from outer space. Some people say that are interdimensional. And some people, very few, talk about the ones that were birthed out of the water of the earth. They just evolved and became these upright standing beings. Now, up under the oceans and under the seas, they are starting to find ruins of old cities and towns. Now, rumors are that they find old statues, but the statues are reptilian. Now, can you imagine a world like this? Beings that were actual reptilians and had advanced technology, and some of them survived the floods. Think about that. Some of them may have survived. And as I said, I know not anything. But this I do know. This is a statue of a reptilian god that actually exists in Peru. Now they're saying that there are others in Turkey, and some people say that there's one somewhere near France. These old reptilian statues that they have found. Now, I don't know if they found them underwater and brought them to the surface, or if they found them in a cave or cavern somewhere. But you can look this up yourself. The reptilian god from Peru, statues. I think the name of it is Morad. I believe that's the name. You can almost hear the name Moor in there, can't you? Later on, we're going to talk about, if you want, we're going to talk about the black nobility and how they may have come into existence. And then we're going to have to talk about the fall of the gods. But all of this depends upon you. But as I said, this is a being, this is something that actually exists. Now, when I was talking about coming from the waters, we do the exact same thing. The earth does the exact same thing as the mother. It's kind of like correspondence. The earth would evolve like a fish-like thing or a tadpole-like thing, and then that thing slowly evolved over through the process of time, and it became a land walker. And when it became a land walker, it just learned how to survive on the land. Now, there were other beings, as I mentioned, that dealt with them and exposed them to technology. But people often just evolve and learn things on their own sometimes too. So they may have been around for so long that they learn how to manipulate certain things in existence. However, this is something to definitely question. I'm not saying that it is true. I'm just saying, why would someone make statues like this and place them in different parts around the world? What sense does that make? Now, of course, you know, Hollywood often tries to tell you certain things just to see how you may interact. Because, I mean, it's an interesting story. Now, this right here is a depiction of the movie Conan the Barbarian. And this is when James Earl Jones transformed into this reptilian-type being to go to war with Conan. Why would someone make that? But if you watch my video earlier, you would have an understanding of how shape-shifting works. And they showed James Earl Jones, a Morenos person. Like I said, we're going to have to talk about the black nobility. Believe me, when it comes to race, I walk right down the middle, but I have to call things out. There's a lot of people who are egotistical and they'd be like, oh, it's not of our race to be such. But I am telling you, yes, the early versions of self were reptilian, and they gained knowledge from self. And they had beings from outside and other places who also traded knowledge with them. Mixing the humanoid type beings that were existing, that looked something like us, it was a must that they mixed their blood with these reptilians. They had to do that for survival. When you're ready for that story, just let me know. But anyway, this is your man, L Judge. 8 minutes, peace and blessings. Hey, I'm out.